running without any problem. The tires really absorb the shock of the cars tremendously.
In fact, Paul Tracy told me during practice that a lot of sand tends to get up on that turn 12 position. Let's go pit side, Gary.
Jim Hall is here and is working with his crew. Can you tell us about this problem popping out of gear, Jim?
Yeah, I can't tell you why. We know that it's got some kind of a gear selection problem. We're trying to figure out what it is right now. It's kind of disappointing for us, but anyway, that's the problem.
They've had a terrific weekend right up until these opening laps. It's a shame.
Well, you can see that despite his misfortune, Brian Herta was able to get back into the action, though now he runs 22nd.
Just to tell everybody about the transmission just a little bit, they're all sequential shift transmissions. They only, like if they're in first, they just keep pulling it back one notch, go to second, next notch is third, next notch is fourth, and on up to 16. So when they downshift, they have to go through each one. Or the motorcycle racer is just like, or motorcycle rider, just like a motorcycle transmission.
Now, this is the situation that got Herta in trouble and dropped him down to the speed.
I just say, coming out of the right-hand turn, he'll be going in to turn 12. Watch here, this is where they all have the problem. There he is. What happens is he brakes, his rear starts locking up, he just starts pushing, and the only way you can go is right into the tires. A lot of the guys have had problems there, and honestly, we can't figure out why.
And I think I said that he was into the tire barrier or the wall. Looks like he didn't really touch it at all.
Here's Al Unser Jr. in the pit lane. Whether this is an early pit stop or trouble, who knows? He's been running 7th.
Way too early, unless they've got a strategy nobody's seen before.
Now he's coming in too slow. Everything, he's got problems. There comes the hood off right now.
This is the defending champion. And, of course, you know that number 1, the number worn by the defending champion, has been an unlucky number historically through the years. In the last 23 years, the car that started the season with number 1 on it has only managed to be champion twice.
Let's go pit side, Gary.
Well, it is that electrical gremlin that they had a report on earlier, and they've got all the wiring harness out on the left side, the right side of the cockpit, replacing some of the electronics. They're hoping that that will cure it. But boy, tremendous disappointment for the man who dominated so much at 94 with his 8 wins, Paul.
Well, Gary, we've seen a number of electrical problems throughout the practice and qualification. Is heat maybe a factor?
I have not heard anybody express that exact concern, Paul. I don't think it's that abnormally hot, and of course they anticipated it would be close to 80 degrees today. So we don't believe that to be the case, but then again with electronics, who knows for sure.
Exactly.
I think what we're going to find on that, Paul, is heat is not giving a problem. It may be hurting a few things, but it's the first race of the season, and it's the first time the cars have ever been pushed really hard under race conditions for anybody here.
A spectator this year, Mario Andretti, also the Grand Marshal at this event, watching his son start from the pole and lead the race. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC station. Back live in Miami, boy, talk about a team that has come of age. Those 2 cars are the Pac West team. They run 2nd and 3rd. The 18 car of Buchelman, followed by Danny Sullivan in the 17 car. They're definitely the group to watch this year. They run 2nd and 3rd behind Michael right now.
They had such a terrible year last year, too, Paul. You know, and look at them. They're both real pretty red, white, and blue cars. They've got to really be a happy team.
And they're going to give a black flag to Al Unser Jr. He broke the pit speed limit when he came in. Hit 88 miles an hour. We only allow 85 here. Gary Gerald?
Well, he just served the black flag penalty with a stop and go. It was an alternator control box that was fluctuating, and so they made the change. They elected to bring him in and make the change rather than risk having the car die on course and then be stranded for the rest of the afternoon. Also, Emerson Fittipaldi, Unser's teammate, has no radio contact with his pit.
Behind the first 3 cars, here comes Al Unser Jr. after making his stop, and here is the fight on the circuit. At 15 cars, Christian Fittipaldi, and chasing him is Jack Villeneuve. It's a battle for 4th place.
Gary, you mentioned Emerson's problem with the radio. He's way back in 13th position. A very bleak day for the Penske team. Al, of course, started badly last year in Surface Paradise and came on speedily and won the championship. But the feeling this year is things are going to be different for Penske. A much tougher year ahead for them.
Well, you know, Sam, they've been testing all winter, and of course the rumor mill is wild, but they say that they've had problems with the car. Now, the car's not changed much from last year, the Penske car. Minor changes to it from what we read and hear about. But for some reason, they've lost what they had last year. Now, knowing Roger Penske, they won't do this much longer. He'll just change the last year's setup and go with that.
Fittipaldi and Jack Villeneuve continue their battle. Right behind them is Boycell, then Scott Pruitt, then Ray Hall. As we look further back in the field, here comes Bobby Ray Hall. Honda power last year, Mercedes power this year. We're just going to climb on board. Bobby and Sam, relax. Enjoy this. Fittipaldi comes suddenly off of that fight and very quickly into the pit. This is on lap 19. They had indicated that the earliest window might be as early. Oh, look at that. Over one of the tires. Problem with the new team, Bobby?
Yes, absolutely problem. New team, new driver. Takes a while to sort things out. First race is always looks like a circus.
No obvious damage to the car. Shouldn't be a problem with it as Christian Fittipaldi comes out.
No, but in the driver's mind, now watching as it happens again, there are some under-body aerodynamic pieces there that could have been damaged that we can't see yet. And the driver always has to wonder, did I hurt the suspension? Can I trust the car after this?
Yeah, there's really no damage to that, Sam. Well, they'll take a lot more than that. The problem is that could have really been bad. I mean, the pit guys, or the guys, the tire changes that made the mistake because they had the tire tucked, the front tire tucked right into the rear there.
Coming back up on Bobby Ray Hall, who is closing in on Raul Boycell.
Boycell, of course, is now Ray Hall's teammate. Boycell drove last year for Simon, did a really good job, and then jumped ship, taking his sponsor, Duracell, the battery company, and now he's with Ray Hall. So Boycell is leading his boss.
They're going to show a black flag to Christian Fittipaldi for running over that tire. I don't think he ever saw it, but nevertheless, there, Jack.
Well, Paul, you've got to stop and go. The reason why he had to come in is he had a tire going down. They were going to try and stretch the Fittipaldi side of things. They were going to try and stretch their pit stop to the next yellow flag. So unexpectedly, he found himself on pit road, and as Bobby Unser and you both said, a new team, and they kind of tripped over each other.
That kind of startled him, I think, to see him in that fast. Bobby Ray Hall now right up behind sixth place Raul Boycell. Bobby Gordon just behind him there.
Jack, that incident dropped Fittipaldi from 4th back to 12th now.
Well, you know, Sam, that isn't quite so bad. He made his pit stop. He doesn't have fuel. What's going to really hurt him is another stop and go under the green. That's really going to hurt. That's like double jeopardy. Now, it'll really be bad if all the other guys happen to get a yellow there for their pit stop.
Now, Boycell out-qualified Ray Hall by several places. Obviously, Ray Hall's setup in the race is better. Here's Eddie Cheever into the tire barriers in A.J. Foyt's car.
Now you can notice he's
12,
going,
Bobby.
Yeah, turn 12, and you notice he's going backwards. Now he didn't hit anything hard from what it looks like. It looks like he's just barely there. You can even see the slide marks on his front tire there. The problem is they all seem to have problems here, and even now. I'll bet the drivers can't tell you why. It just happens.
There is a little ripply quality to the pavement as you come in.
What happens there, and I noticed this now, during the practice session, I stayed out there in that turn to see what the cars were doing, and that's exactly what happened with this one. Eddie Cheever, they go into the turn a little bit wide, the rear tire's locked up, and it changes direction just like his did.
And Eddie managed to stall the car. That's the problem.
Yellow flag only in that area of the course. Michael Andretti, the leader of the race, now by 10 seconds over Mauricio Guzman and Danny Sullivan, the Pac West team